Hello, anyone and everyone who is around and available. Thank you for joining me on this lovely Tuesday evening. I got my music playing in the background. For those of you who did not hear or are here for State of the Federation, State of the Federation is actually slowing down a little bit for us. So in the meantime, I am doing other random strategy game things. And chatting with people. You know, if anything new comes up for Star Trek or stuff, I'm totally up to talk about that. But for now, this is Battlewing. Yes, it's a crazy, stupid little name. Here, let me put up a little. I should add something for that so that we can actually see what that is. So let me add in some text. Battlewing. So that is what I have today because for those of you who don't know, I am a pretty high critic of certain games like Star Trek Attack Wing or other strategy games, and eventually, when you criticize something enough, people say, "Well, if you hate it so much, why don't you just make your own game?" So this is the start of the fruits of that labor. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff going in on this, and unless someone really specifically asks me about it, I'm just going to try running through some of my test battles for now. And if anyone is interested in downloading the alpha test packet, it's over on my Facebook page. You can get there by finding a link somewhere that I'll post. Let's see here. How do I want to do that? Well, if you just look up for Delta Angel Fire on Facebook, you will find me. I'm also on the blogger page. You can see me right over. Do I have anything that can show me that? But yeah. Anyway, you will find me over there. You can get a link to it from the State of the Federation page, which is facebook.com/State of the Federation. Also in the Twitch links down below. Where's my camera? There's my camera today. And yeah. So let me go ahead, and I'm just going to go ahead and get started here. So Battlewing. Oh, let me also go ahead and, if anyone's interested in the music going on in the background, I should go ahead and put that on there too. This is just shoutcast from whatever the station that OC Remix does, and I enjoy it quite a bit. It's got a good little mix of things and gamey stuff, you know? Where is it? There we go. Give me music. And we'll just have that over there in the corner. Alright, so this game is totally still way in the alpha phases, so this is just a test to see how wide a power difference there is in the different ships. So I've got 2 heavy cruisers and 2 light cruisers here, and we're just going to simulate a battle between them and see how it goes. And see if there's any rules I want to change as we're going through. So, to start with, power distribution phase. Every ship chooses how to spend its power allotment. Light cruisers generate 4 power per turn. Do I have... here, let me put this on so I can do it better. Give me capture cursor. And give me... Nope, not that one. Give me more capture cursor. So every ship has amount of power that it generates each turn. The heavy cruisers generate 5 power per turn, distributed among their power systems, and also the light cruisers generate 4 power per turn, also distributed among their systems. So just to start with, we're not quite in combat range, so shields is probably a good thing to start with. Let's go 1. And let's boost up some of the maneuvering ability. So let's go 1 for helm, and 3 for engines so we can get moving. Alright, so that's 5 power to each of the heavy cruisers. For the light cruisers, they also want to get in position, but they're not in that big a hurry. They're going to probably want to start getting their defenses up. So, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright. So after power distribution is done, we go on to the movement phase. This would normally be done with a set of cards. I've got my lovely little playing deck here. But yeah, you would choose left, right, forward, kind of like Star Trek does. You know, you pick a direction and you get moving. So everyone starts at speed. Well, what speed do we want to start at? We're going to say everyone starts at speed 0. So I should mark that on here some way. Nope, that's not a good way to do it. So, speed 0. That is, how small is that? That's pretty small. Haha. Speed 0, speed 0, speed 0. Nah, that's not going to work well. I'm using paint, but these things work out, right? Let's see. Maybe it would be easier if I just added some text. You know what? We're just going to remember it. Because I'm going to remember it on my little dice. They're going to be lovely. So, little light cruisers start at 0. Heavy cruisers start at 0. But they're going to be moving, so heavy cruisers are going to get on the move. So, to start with, we'd already did power distribution. At this point, everyone would lock in a maneuver, and then we start doing maneuvers. Since heavy cruisers are a larger size than light cruisers, they move first. Movement is not too terrible an idea in this game, or too terrible a penalty if you do certain things. In Star Trek and X-Wing, bumping is a huge part of the game. If you bump, terrible things happen, but space is gigantic, and as a more accurate representation of that, you'll never bump in this game, unless you are purposely trying to ram somebody, which does not have rules for yet. But yeah, so heavy cruisers are going to do a nice little turn to the right, and increase speed by 1. Anytime you use any power from a system, you only lose 1 power from that system, but you get as much as you have in your threshold. So, threshold for heavy cruisers at 3 power here, you can see, is 2. Hope you can read that on the screen. So, you spend 1 power, they can increase or decrease their speed by 2. They're going to increase it by 2. And then for their helm maneuver, they get to maneuver 1 point, which turns 1 facing on a 60-degree plane. So that is going to move both of them 1, 2, and that will change its angle. Do I have the correct angle? Will 60 do it? Nope, that's the wrong way around. Let's try that the other way. Try 300. There we go. And same with its partner. 1, 2. And 300. Alright, so that was their movement. They are complete. Light cruisers, starting at 0 hull and not turning right away. They're just going to store up the power. So at this point, we would be checked to see if we can attack. Attacking happens at range 3, which is going to be 9 hexes in this game for now. So we've got 1, 2, 3, let's see, the closest one here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Nope, we're way out of range. We got a long way to go. So, nothing happening quite as of yet. End of phase, we would apply damage effects. There hasn't been any damage yet. So then we move right on to the next power distribution. Again, the heavy cruisers get their power, so they'll go ahead and distribute. 1, 2, oop, 2 just to get started, and then 3. Why are you doing that? 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. They've got one more left, so let's start charging those weapons. Perfect. Alright. Light cruisers are still just getting prepared for the enemy to come in. They are going to go, since their shields are up, they'll go ahead and start maneuvering. 1, 2, and 3, 4. Let's try that again. 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And use this for all your ships. So once you know where your opponent's ship energy is going, you can kind of get maybe a little bit of a plan of what they're planning to do. Like the heavy cruisers aren't planning on pulling any fancy, you know, quick turns or maneuvers, but they have that option to move a little bit. So there is a little bit of predictability, unpredictability going on there, and that is kind of the entire shtick of the attack wing flight path system that you want to recreate. It's quick and it's simple, and you're not totally overwhelmed by like normal tactical games where you can choose every individual hex. You'd be like, I can move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 6 across terrain, 7, 8. You don't have to do that kind of thing here. Your movement phase is locked in, and you are done. All right. So the heavy cruisers we have here are at 2 speed. Light cruisers are at 0. Heavy cruisers, I don't think really will be needing to increase speed too much. They'll just increase speed by 1. Now, even though they could do 2, just increasing by 1, it'll still cost you 1 power. And they're not going to change their maneuvers, so they're going to go up to 3. If I can find 3 on my cool little dice here. There's the 3. Speed dice. Yeah. There's a lot of dice and cards in this game, but it replaces the damage deck and a lot of the little tokens that are all over the place in like the attack wing and X-wing stuff. So I'm hoping that kind of balances out with each other. But yeah, so oop, nope, don't move the grid. We want to move the ships. Give me the ship. Why won't you select the ship? So give me the ship. No, you don't wanna let me pick up the ship. Why are you being annoying today? I don't want to select you. Go to the background. Whoa, that's not quite what I was going for, but maybe it will let me pick these ships now. So let's go ahead and just get rid of this. So... Whoa, what did that do? That's not what I was going for at all. Nope, I broke everything. There we go. Alright, let's try this again. In case you didn't notice, I'm trying to do this. I'm doing all this wonderful fun stuff on an open office calculator. Because, why? Because it lets me move my things around easily enough, in theory. It was a quick setup, so sue me. So, 3 speed goes 1, 2, 3. This guy, 1, 2, 3. Right. The opposition is going to be going 1 forward and is going to be increasing speed by 2. And turning in 1, even though they're only turning in 1, it still costs them 1 power regardless of where it comes from. So we've got some movement going on. I know this song. What song is it? Tell me. Adrian Halavati, Gypsy Jazz. I should know where this is from. Oh well. So yeah. Now comes if I can select these. No. Oh, why are you giving me such a hard time? Go to the back. There we go. Alright, so, what did we say? They're going 2 speed, and they're taking a bank, so 1, 2. Rotation of minus 60 degrees, right? Is that the right way it's going? Yeah, first time. 1, 2. And 1, 2. Alright. Everyone's moved. We check firing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Not quite in range, so we go on to the next step. Power distribution. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. They're up to full power. Excellent. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now, heavy cruisers aren't quite as maneuverable as light cruisers, so we're going to see if we can use that to the light cruisers' advantage a little bit. But in the meantime, light cruisers, 1, 2, 3, for 4, let's go ahead and give them the engine power. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Nice, simple. I was thinking about some ideas for like power decay and things like that, but I don't think that's necessary now. Right now I just want to check to see if like these stats even work out, because there's not that much difference between the heavy and light cruisers, but I really think that this should be, you know, I'm kind of aiming for this 2-on-3 matchup to be pretty even. So we will continue the light cruisers. Seeing where the heavy cruisers, seeing where the light cruisers are going, they're going to go ahead and take a turn, and they're moving at speed 3. They'll stay at speed 3 for now, just so they're not wasting that power. So let's go ahead and make that some soft turns, and the light cruisers will go ahead and stay on their course until they'll go ahead and speed up a little bit till they know where they're going. So they're going to go up to speed 4. Heavy cruiser at speed 3, and they will get a move in. So movement for these guys is going to be, nope, not that. So 1, come on, 1, 2, 3. Go ahead and rotate you back. And we've got 1, 2, 3. And followed by the light cruisers. No, give me the light cruisers. 1, 2, 3, 4. Zoom in the battle. 4 is 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 is the top. 5 is going to be the top. 4 is going to be the top speed for light cruisers. I think 5 for scouts. Heavy cruisers 3. If you can go over that if you're spending the power, but there's going to be some kind of disadvantage at the end. Like either have to spend extra power to maintain your speed, or something like that. There's going to be some kind of speed decay. There has to be. Oop. I went ahead and got my grid out of position, so let's go ahead and move you back. Alright, so now we finally get to do some combat. For combat, I have these wonderful fancy little dice that I made myself. Critical, miss, or sorry, you can't really see that very well. That's a hit, and a miss, and a critical hit. 2 criticals, 3 hits, 1 miss. Combat works a little bit differently in this game. It was a little bit inspired by battle stations, which is something I liked because in Star Trek and stuff, you see people have shields and stuff, but your ship is still taking damage while your shields are up. You know, consoles are exploding, bad things are happening, and the shields are still up. Like, shields at 29%, Captain. We can't take another hit like that. Things like that. So damage system works a little bit differently in this game. So we're going to go ahead and go to the combat. Heavier ships fire first, so the heavy cruiser is going to fire. They'll spend 1 power from their guns. So we'll just start with the first one for now. So, first one is going to get 3 dice for its attack power. He's going to go ahead and shoot 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 spaces to this one in the back. He's going to go ahead and shoot at. So 1, 2, 3. The one in the back has 2 shields. No, it has 3 shields actually. 1, 2, 3 power to the shields. So that's going to add another 3 dice to the attack. These are the exact same dice. There is no attack and evade. There is just attack. Why would you want to add dice to your attacker's attack, you say? Because the shield will negate the 3 best results out of 6. It'll still take damage, but it is mitigating a lot of damage. So, include especially critical hits, which have a fairly high probability of happening, 2 sides out of a 6-sided die. So shields mitigate a little bit of damage, but they don't mitigate the whole thing. So, and they're not solid defense walls either. Like in X-Wing and Attack Wing, any damage you take removes shields. In this case, shields are acting more like a different kind of evade type thing. So 6 dice rolled in my lovely little spot here. And that's going to be 1 hit, 1 critical, 4 hits, and 1 miss. So the 3 of the dice get taken out because they're high. The 3 lowest ones, the 2 hits and a miss. I don't know if you can't really see that there. It's kind of bright. Can I angle it a little bit? Yeah. 2 hits and a miss. So 2 damage is going to happen to the light cruiser. For that, we have damage dice. It was kind of silly, I thought, with the damage cards that just kind of said, oh, this is something you're suffering from, but you couldn't really see it directly in how the game mechanics flowed. So 2 damage means rolling 2 dice to determine what systems are hit. In this case, it is 2 damage to the shields, and we will go ahead and mark that with lovely little things right here. So 2 damage to the shields is going to suffer that at the end of the turn, because all damage happens at the end of the turn. And after that, we move on to the next attack. The next attack is going to be the other heavy cruiser. It's going to go ahead and pew pew at the same target. No damage has happened, so that light cruiser still has 2 shields remaining. So it's going to be 3 dice versus 2 dice. So 5 dice total. Roll those up. Oh my goodness, what a terrible roll. 2 misses. So after removing the 2 highest ones, that only leaves 1 hit left. 1 hit yields the damage die. Damage die comes up. Wow, 1 more shield. These are my little damage dice tokens here. So you got shields, engines, power, weapons, helm, and a hull right there. So that was a pretty bad roll for the heavy cruiser there. It deals 1 damage to the shields. Let's give it another X right there. And we can then go on to the light cruisers. So, focus firing is usually almost always a good thing. So they're all going to focus fire on this cruiser number 1 over here. So their attack is going to be, they have 3 damage weapons as well. So 3 and 3 is 6. 6 dice against heavy cruiser number 1. 1 miss, 2 crits, 3 hits. 3 shields removes the top 3, so that's just 2 hits. 2 damage dice. Engines and weapons. Ouch. So 1 for the weapons. 1 for the engines. Alright. No hull damage yet. Hull damage is going to be important soon, in a little bit, and you'll see why. But right now, things are just exploding all over the ship. However, the ship is not really that close to being in danger of being exploded yet, and you'll see why when we get to the dealing damage phase. So, cruiser number 2 attacks, also in range, so it's going to be now 3 dice, 3 attack versus 2 shields. That drains a shield, so that's going to be 5 dice. And you can see the shields are rapidly getting drained here. Shields down to 33% cap. 2 crits, 2 hits, 1 miss. 2 shields negate the 2 crits, so you can see where those crits are starting to get a little bit closer to not being negated. 2 hits, yields 2 damage. To the shield and to the helm. Wow, it's just hitting everything right now. Ship is not too close to being in danger of being destroyed. However, it is in danger of being crippled beyond usefulness. So where's the helm? Give me the helm color. All right, and last but not least, we've got 1 more ship to go. Come on. Fires 3 strength versus 1 shield. That's going to be 4 dice. One miss, 2 hits, and a crit. Thankfully, the crit gets negated. 2 more hits, though, to the enemy to the human ship. The humans are having problems. No. To the weapons and to the engines again. Very nice. Alright. Now at this point everyone's fired, so we move on to the damage dealing. Every point of damage you take to a system is going to deal 2 damage to that system. It's going to reduce your capacity in that system by 2. If you don't have enough, or if you don't have any way to take damage in that system, it's going to yield hull damage instead. Hull damage is something we didn't see come up. That's going to be this little result here, the silver one. For every 2 hull damage you get, you take a hull breach. You can have a number of hull breaches up to your ship's size, and then you explode. So once a heavy cruiser has 3 hull breaches, it would explode. It didn't get any hull breaches this turn, but it did take a lot of damage to the systems. It almost would have been preferable for it to roll some hull damage in order to keep some of its, like its weapons online or something. So 2 damage for every X we have here, so that's going to be 1. This X counts as 1. It's a little bit of a resistance that the heavy freighters get. 2. That space cannot be used this turn. And then 1, 2. So weapons systems are completely down. Engine systems are completely down. Helm has taken a beating, and shields are pretty badly damaged. Actually, not that badly damaged. Take that back. Because it would be 1, 2 for resistance. So he's going to have the ability to place 2 shields next turn, but it's not looking good for him right now. He's taken a lot of damage. He's taken a lot of damage that hurts his systems, but not a lot of damage that will that will make him explode yet. So we can go on to, let's see, we've got the shield damage over here. So 1 negates 2 spaces on the light cruiser. 2 negates that space. And a 3, the 3rd damage to the shield will actually, now I haven't decided if this deals 1 hull damage or 1 hull breach. Since you have so much damage done to the shields right now. We're going to say that it gives 1 hull damage. And so since it doesn't have a second hull damage to trigger the breach, it's just going to not be counted. So we've counted all the damage to that light cruiser. We've counted all the damage to our heavy cruiser. And then we move on back to the power distribution phase. Power distribution phase does a little bit differently when you have system damage. You can spend power from your energy, energy collection to repair a damage, which is going to be two slots. We're actually going to have like little damage counters, so they cover 2 slots, and then when you repair it, one of them comes off. So to repair the damage to these systems, you have to distribute your power first. So cruiser number 1 is going to go ahead and distribute the 2 power into the system it has right now available. And it has 3 power left over so that it can start repairing other things. So it's going to go ahead and repair. Shields are going to be important. That's something you definitely want for next turn. So that's 1, 2. That's 1. Number 2, it's going to go. It wants to fire, but it's not going to be able. Definitely not going to be able to fire this turn. But looking ahead for the future, we'll go ahead and bring it up 1. And last but not least, let's go ahead and slow down a little bit. We're going to want to slow down a little bit at least. So we're going to repair the engines as well. So there's still quite some damage to the systems, but not entirely terrible. As we're not going to heal the engines. Forget the engines. Let's go ahead and heal the helm, because we're going to need to be able to turn around really soon. Since we have no control over our speed right now because of the engines, we're going to be stuck at speed 3 there for a while. The second ship has 5 power, but only 2 of it can be placed into systems, which it will fill, of course. And the light cruisers, 4 things to fill is perfect for what they're producing. And the injured one in the back still has 4 power, but it has no shields. So it'll go ahead and it's going to try to run away and get some repair time in. So 2 power is going to go to the engines, and then 2 power is going to repair these shields. Well, it's going to repair the systems. You can't place power in a system that was just repaired that turn, because repairing happens after power distribution. So we will continue on the next turn. Heavy cruiser number 1, he kind of wants to get out of there, but the enemy ships are moving pretty fast. So he is actually going to just maintain what he's doing right now and hope his shields hold. Number 2 is going to... the enemy ships are moving pretty fast at a speed 4 right now, so he's going to go ahead and slow down so he can keep some good damage on him. So that's going to be -2 to his speed, going from 3 to 1. And he's going to go ahead and bank to the left, because that's the direction the ships are going. That'll keep them in his arc pretty well. So let's see here. Heavy cruiser number 1, you are stuck at 3 speed because your engines cannot change, and you are not changing your direction, so he's going to go 1, 2, 3. Followed by heavy cruiser number 2. He's going speed 1. What's going on? There we go. He's going speed 1, and he's turning to try to keep his firing range in the proper position. So 60. Perfect. The light cruisers have chosen to try to speed by the enemy ships. So they are going to attempt a turnaround maneuver so that they can get into an interestingly different position. Something like that. It's something we can do. So for attempting such a maneuver, we are going to go ahead and to turn 3 facings is going to be 3 points of helm power. Thankfully, each of these has that. Then they're going to increase speed by 3 up to 7, because when you attempt to turn around, it costs you 3 points of momentum. So they're going to actually go back down to 4 at the end of it. And that is going to lead us going... Oh no. No. Darn you, grid. So that will lead us with 1, 2, 3, 4. And a 360 turnaround. This is how I'm trying to implement the K turn in this game. You know, the K turn or the come about. That'll be 300 degrees there. Nope. Grab the right thing. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's going to leave us right in perfect position to shoot at each other there. Super up close and personal. That's what we like about space combat games, even though space combat happens in like huge, vast expanses. And our last light cruiser is having problems, so he is going to just speed up and try to gun it away from whatever can attack it, since it has no shields. So it's going to go ahead and spend its engine power. That brings it up to 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And it got it out of one ship arc, but it did not get it out of the second ship arc. So we'll see how well that works for it. Everything's already moved, so back into combat. Heavy Cruiser 1 has things in arc, but it cannot fire because it has no weapons power. Heavy Cruiser number 2, however, gets a shot. It's going to go ahead and shoot at the thing with no shields. 3 attack dice versus 0 additional defense is going to be 2 hits and 1 critical. Every time you score a critical into the hull, score a critical against a ship, that's going to be an additional hull damage. Nothing else. But that stacks, of course, with any other hull damage you might roll to deal permanent damage to the ship. So we've got 3 dice for damage, plus 1 hull result. So we've got power, helm, and hull is what we ended up rolling for that one. Power, helm, and hull. That's actually a little bit upside down. Power, helm, and hull. So, this ship is going to be having some minor problems in the near future. But, of course, damage doesn't happen until the end phase. What did I say? I already forgot what I was doing. Power, helm, and hull. That's the one. So, we've got power, helm, and hull. Alright, light cruisers are on the move. This light cruiser is out of range to attack, so it will not be doing so. These light cruisers are going to both pound on the crippled heavy cruiser. So that's 3, 4, 5. 3 for attack, 2 for defense. Fighter number light cruiser 1 gets 3 hits and 2 crits. 2 crits are cancelled. 3 hits is 3 damage. That's 1 hull, 1 engine, 1 shield. So 1 engine, 1 shield. Number 2 goes. It's going to be 3 attack dice versus 1 defense dice, so 4 dice total. Drain the power systems. 4 straight hits. Negate 1. We get 3 dice again. So that's going to be another hull, a shield, and a helm. I think I didn't put the first hull in there. So 1 hull, 2 hull from the second attack, a shield, and a helm. Taking quite a pounding. These light cruisers have quite a bit of attack. I might want to tone that down a little bit, but I don't know yet. We will see how this this finishes playing out. So that is all the attacking done for these guys. We move on to dealing damage. So let's see. We've got power systems drain. We've got helm drain. And the one hull damage, plus another hull damage from the critical that I almost forgot about. Don't want to forget about that. That means there's 2 hull damage on the ship. I'll go ahead and put this on there so that we can see it. Oop. Hey, why won't you just put on your hull damage? There we go. So we did the 2 damage systems there, and 2 hull results in 1 hull breach. So let's go ahead and take a breach damage. So that's 1 hull breach damage. When it hits 2, that ship is going to be destroyed. We love it when things get destroyed. So that damage has been dealt with. We've got additional damage hitting this ship right here. So 2 shields, so that's going to be 1 and 2. 1 to the engine gives us another hull. 1 to the helm. And we've got, since the engine one was a hull, that's 1, 2, 3 hull. 3 hull damage means 1 hull breach. 1 hull breach makes a lovely little star. Alright. Damage has been dealt. See how combat is going pretty well so far. I hope everything's making sense. It shouldn't be too overly complicated once you see it, but trying to tell somebody how it works usually is terribly disconcerting. Power distribution. So, 5 energy for heavy cruiser. We need to get some gun power in there, because, well, we actually might be able to shoot this turn. They are facing an interesting direction. Next up is we've got 3 power left that we can distribute to healing damage. So let's go ahead and try to get some shields back up for next turn, hopefully. And it'd be really nice to try to slow down a little bit, because we really want to be able to just maneuver and get our shots off, because tanking seems to be a better idea for these heavy cruisers. Second heavy cruiser is perfectly fine with what it's doing. It's got plenty of system power for more than it needs. Light cruisers, plenty of system power again. Except for this one. Let's not do that one. Red, yellow, blue. Now see, the amount of... It's really working well to try to deal damage to the same guy, but splitting up the damage might be a decent idea to try to lessen the damage they can deal to my friend and compatriot over here. So maybe in this kind, the way these rules are working, maybe it won't be the best idea to focus fire things down. It might be better, since focus firing still takes a lot to just kill a ship, because this thing has survived 3 direct attacks so far, even though it technically only has 2 hull, as is meant to be in this game. I suppose you could say it has 4 hulls, since it takes 2 hull damage to do a hull breach. But yeah, distributing damage might be the thing to slowly wear enemy systems down, so that they are not as effective in combat in the following turns. But until then, let's go ahead and... Alright. 7, which was the speed for our damaged cruiser, is way higher than its maximum speed. Its maximum speed is supposed to be 4. So it is going to take inertial dampener damage, or something. I'm working on, you know, the names for that kind of stuff. But so we'll go ahead and roll. It's losing. It needs to lose speed and come back into its normal speed range. So let's go ahead and say that it's going to reduce its speed. It's forced to reduce its speed by 2, which is going to be 2 more of these damage dice. And that is going to be 1 critical and 1 miss. That critical is going to be helm and hull. So the helm is going to be damaged, and I'm pretty sure it didn't have a third hull damage here, so that's not going to end up destroying it. But it is going to be dealing some damage to it. Now going back to the power distribution phase, that was something that should have happened in the end phase of last turn. We've got 2 power to spend. Getting your power systems back online is really, really important. But shields are kind of important too. So this ship's going to play it safe and just try to get shields back online. So 2 power, it gets 2 power. It's putting both of that power into the shields and letting itself kind of drift away from the battle, not really doing any damage right now. If it really wanted to, now it's really trying to go for defense, and it doesn't really need anything specific to keep going. So, where is my 5? So it's at speed 5 now. It's going to go ahead and transfer power. Transferring power is another way you can get emergency power. For example, if your power generator is completely, out and damaged, but you still have power in the systems. So you're not left derelict in space while you still have power sitting on your ship. So it's going to go ahead and trade out, maybe not the engine power. It's going to go ahead and trade out both its guns' powers because it's probably not going to shoot anything this turn, and add 1 more to the shield. So hopefully it will, survive taking less damage. All right, moving on to movement. Poor heavy cruiser is stuck going 3 straight. It could do a bank with its 1 helm power. That is certainly something it could do, but it's going to go ahead and hold on to that for now. Hopefully, it'll be able to slow itself next turn in some way, shape, or form. You know what? No, it is gonna bank. So it's gonna go. So at 3 speed, it's gonna go 1, 2, 3, and it's banking to the right because the other ships are going to be coming this way in theory. And who knows what that other player might have set their ships to do? Maybe go forward, maybe come about. Whatever it is, it should take some amount of power, and this thing is going to hopefully be in a better position by facing a almost correct way, or at least in the general area of where it thinks they're going. The other guy, however, is going to it's going to keep going after the ship it's got. It's going to go ahead and increase speed back up to 2 because that might be something it needs to keep it in battle range. So that's going to bring it back up to 3, and it's just going to go forward. So it's going to go forward. Now it's going to go bank, and it'll take the bank and turn away from. Does it want to turn away though? That ship's not really doing anything. Oh well. 1, 2, 3. A lot of strategy to this game, and it's not even a real game yet. Alright, the light cruisers, expecting certain issues, did a big turnabout. They're going to do another big turnabout, the same thing they did last turn. So that boosts them up to 7, cut in half, brings them down to... Oh no, why? Darn you, grid. So up to 7, minus 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. And 1, 2, 3, 4. Now this is only possible really because they've had full power in their helm and engines. So if splitting up damage, maybe the engines might have been damaged or something like that. It could have helped lower their maneuverability. Alright, so they did their turnarounds, and light cruiser is actually trying to slow itself so it doesn't take additional damage from speed for this round, so it goes back down to 4. Oop. And 1, 2, 3, 4. Unfortunately, still in the line of fire, but trying to get away. Moving on to shooting. Our cruiser only has power and weapons right now. Is going to go ahead and take a shot. Doesn't really matter which one he shoots at right now. So he'll go ahead and shoot at cruiser number 1. Ooh, excuse me. That's going to be 2 attack dice versus 3 defense dice. Come on, lucky roll. Ah, oh, very nice. 2 hits and 3 criticals. So that actually means it's going to be oh wait, nope. Because it had 3 shields, it gets rid of all 3 criticals, so that's just 2 regular damage. Both straight to the hull. Craziness. So it's not going to do any really good. It doesn't do any good damage to the system, so it's still technically fighting at peak efficiency. But at the end of the turn, it's going to be down to 1 hit point left, so it could go straight from full fighting to kaboom. And I think that's an interesting mechanic. Later on in the game, I'm going to introduce ways to reroll these. This is going to be what your target lock does. It changes what you damage. It doesn't change your attack dice. It changes these damage dice. So it's like, oh, I'm trying to damage the hull. You would get like, oh, well, this is what I rolled. You can reroll all of your dice once or twice to try to get whatever symbol that is not up. So if I said, I'm going for hull, and I rolled this, none of those are hull, so I'd reroll those again. And then I would get 1 hull and, what is this, 2 power? 1 hull and 2 power. Well, power is still not hull, so go ahead and reroll those again. And that is going to be our final result. So you get a lot of chances to do it with these 1 and 6 dice, which I never really liked 1 and 6 dice from like battle lore and stuff, but I think with enough rerolls it's okay. Second heavy cruiser tries to take out the retreating light cruiser. Still in range. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 3 attack, 3 attack, 3 defense. Take away some power. And go for it. Aw, that was terrible. 1 miss and 5 hits. I guess that wasn't too terrible. So 3 hits are canceled. It takes 2 damage. It's got no helm right now, so this might be able to do quite a bit. We've got 1 to the hull and 1 to the shields. Unfortunately, the 1 to the hull is not going to stack or do anything appreciable, which is unfortunate. Unfortunate for these guys. And light cruisers are up. So, gonna go ahead and try to take out the heavy cruiser with no shield, so it's only straight up 3 attack dice. 1 hit and 2 criticals, so that's an automatic hull damage. And to the shields, to power, and to helm, and to hull. So, shields, power, hull, and 2 criticals is 2 more hull. That is not going to be enough to kill it, so the other ship will also fire at it. It's 3 dice, ready to go. 1 miss, 1 hit, 1 critical. That's going to be enough damage to do it, but we'll just roll just in case. 2 damage is 2 more to the engines. Ouch. So, 2 to engines, and 1 more to hull. Takes up some of their power. He was the one that got attacked, so he lost his shield. So that is all the attacks for the round, especially since this guy can't attack. Damage, this is going to be to, well, we'll just go through it anyway. This is going to be to power, to shields, to engines. A second engine can't be done, so that's now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 damage to the hull. That's going to be 2 hull breaches. 1, 2, and with 3 hull breaches and a size 3 ship, that ship explodes. Kaboom! Goodbye. Yeah, 2 light cruisers versus heavy cruisers. That's kind of what I expected. But 2 heavy cruisers versus only 3 light cruisers. I don't know. I think they rolled a little badly in the first go around. So This ship is gone. And somehow that other light cruiser down there is still surviving. So, damage distribution. This guy gets the hull damage. And this guy gets shield damage. Doing a decent amount of damage, but I wonder if that's just because of how things turned out. Well, that is one way things go. We are going on to the next turn. This guy is gone. So you are no longer of use. We have power distribution. Still at full power, still completely unscathed. These guys also still have enough power to keep refilling, keep themselves topped off on energy. Maybe I need to have these guys spend more energy when they're doing stuff. I don't know yet. We'll see how it goes. And this guy over here is going to repair. Going to repair his energy and going to repair the shields. So one shield left. Does it go down? Are we going to have it go down? We don't know yet. So movement. Heavy cruiser. Does heavy cruiser want to turn around and engage these guys up here, or does it want to finally finish off this stupid guy so it doesn't come back off later? I always like to hunt things down so they don't come back. So he is going to go ahead and maintain his speed of 3. And he's not going to turn. 1, 2, 3. Because the light cruiser still has no helm available, so it has no choice but to go 1, 2, 3, 4. It could slow down, it could speed up by 1, but that's not going to change its position much. It's still going to be in the range of fire. The light cruisers are going to try and come back around. They're not going to change much. They're just going to go there 1, 2, 3, 4 forward. That'll give them good shots on the behind. Good old flanking. And combat. Heavy cruiser shoots. 3 versus 1. 4 dice. Heavy cruiser. Heavy cruiser shooting at damaged light cruiser. Takes 1 from there, takes 1 from there. Miss, hit, and 2 crits. So that is going to end up being 1 hit and 1 crit against the light cruiser. And come on, give me some hull damage. We've got 1 hull damage already. We just need 1 more. That is 2 damage to the shields. Not looking too good here. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to change that a little bit. So I'm just gonna go ahead and influence it now, so it's not gonna matter much. There's only 1 ship left. The light cruisers attack the heavy cruiser. 3 attack versus 3 shields. That's cruiser number 1. 3 crits and 3 hits is 3 damage. Hull, power, and helm. Hull, power, helm. And 1 more. It's going to be 3 versus 2, so 5 dice. 1 miss, 3 hits, and a critical. So 2 shields negates that. We've got 2 damage here. To the helm and to the engines. So helm, engines. Alright. Resolving damage. Light cruiser survives. That light cruiser survives. This heavy cruiser takes damage to the power systems, damage to the helm again, damage to the engines, It is not looking good. However, it has not taken any permanent damage yet. So, there's that. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and call it here. The heavy cruiser is pretty much outmatched and outgunned. Maybe it was because of those early bad attacks, or maybe it's because the light cruisers have a little bit too much attack power. I'm thinking that might be the case. I don't know yet, though. These were the hardest ones that I really wanted to test out. The scouts are really small; they don't do a lot of damage, so those are things I didn't want to deal with right now too much. And the super heavy Leviathans are really slow and are supposed to have like really wide arcs. Determining what I want to do with firing arcs in this game is also something I want to think about, because I want there to be ways to make multiple attacks or add new firing arcs. You can see that's why you can see that some of these have the additional firing arcs, like a 90-degree side firing arc, or a 90 forward, 90 back, things like that. But yeah, I think this is going to do it for my first test of this game. I think the defense might need to be reduced a little bit, especially for these 3 health systems. These 3 health systems, which can absorb the same amount of damage as a 4 health system, is not as big a difference as I hoped it would be. So that'll go on the drawing board. I took a little bit of damage though, so that's neat. Getting some lucky shots on the hull would be nice. And when I come back again, I'm going to try adding some... the question is, do I want to modify the base ships so they're in line, or do I want to modify the actual cards you can equip on them? Because there's going to be upgrades and stuff that you equip on these things. Light cruisers can take 2 modules or 4 cargo upgrades. Heavy cruisers can take 3 modules or 6 cargo upgrades. And cargo upgrades are just like, cargo upgrades should be crew or neat equipment that has minor effects, and modules change things in large ways, like additional gun array or a fighter launch bay or things like that. Missiles and fighters are things that are going to add. Crew and cargo are things that are going to be added. But this was just a test to see how the system was working, and I'm actually kind of pleased with how it was going. Power distribution, the power systems, I feel might need to take a little more damage. The focus fire worked pretty well to keep this guy crippled, but he was crippled enough that I think he should have been getting damaged. So maybe if we just make it so that the 3 power systems, if you go over, it damages system and counts as a hull damage. I think I'm going to go with that. But yeah, that took about an hour, and considering it was a little slower because I was playing both sides and using a computer program to try to do it, we went through what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rounds, maybe 6. I'm pretty pleased with that. But yeah, if you're interested in this game, this is the Battle Wing prototype I'm working on. I'll have a link here on Twitch or on YouTube to my second Facebook page, which is going to be the main Facebook page now. State of the Federation is going to be a kind of like a sub page of my main gaming page. For people who only are interested in the State of the Federation stuff. I know there's plenty of people out there. But yeah, if you're interested in this game, there will be definitely the alpha testing kit that you can use. It has all of these computer images and stuff that I made up for examples and stuff. It does not have my cool fancy dice things, but those are things that can be fairly easily replicated on their own, or by using just regular 1 through 6 dice and assigning each base aside. But if you're interested in giving me any suggestions for this, especially after seeing how this playtest went, or a playtest of your own, you know, tell me how you thought that it played out with certain size ships, and how well you think it was going, and if there's any other rules that you think should be added. One of the rules I was thinking of actually adding on to that is that something that makes it so small ships aren't automatically destroyed by big ships, because the Leviathan class has 4 attack dice against the small scout ship, which only has like 2 defense, and 1 hull breach available before it gets blown up. But like, one of the things was that since ships are so small, fire would go right through them, so that anything that was too powerful would actually just cut through the ship and not actually do its full amount of damage. This was a throwback again to the Battle Stations RPG. You can find that over on Board Game Geek. They're launching a Kickstarter sometime soon, hopefully, because I'm really interested in getting the second edition of that. But yeah, smaller ships would only take 1 or 2 damage from like 5, 6, 7 dice attacks, because that's as thick as the ship was. You know, you hit it from the side, it hits two pieces of it, and it comes out the other end. It's not like it was all, the entire ship was in a straight line and it cut through every part of the ship. Kind of like, you know, hitting the Enterprise D, the big saucer section from underneath. You would see it just like pierce right through. I mean, you know, there's definitely been a couple scenes with that kind of thing happening. I think that would be a great thing to represent in the game. But yeah, that's the basic ideas that I have been trying to throw around with Battlewing. Name, of course, to be changed in some way, shape, or form. But yeah, glad you guys could join me. If anyone's actually here. Thanks to anyone who ends up actually watching this over on the YouTube or on my channel. I would be happy to have anyone here to chat about anything, especially this game, but also including, you know, Star Trek or any other strategy games that I'm playing. And thanks a lot. You guys have a good night. That's going to be it for today. And yeah, play Star Trek, or just play, yeah, you can play any game with dice in it. I hope Q is generous to you. Have a good night, everybody.